You read the answer. You nod. You move on. It sounds right. It feels complete. So you don't question it. You don't push it further. You don't check what's missing. You just accept it. And that moment, the moment right after the answer arrives, used to be different. You used to stay there a little longer. Not because you doubted, because something in you wanted to make sure it was actually yours. You'd turn it around, poke at it, see if it held. That part is quieter now. Not gone, just quieter. And the strange thing is, it doesn't feel like a loss. It feels like efficiency. You got the answer faster. You kept moving. Nothing went wrong. But something small stopped happening there. And most people haven't noticed. Not what they're getting. What they stopped doing the moment they got it.
There's a specific thing that used to happen after you got information. Not reading it, not saving it. Something else. A few seconds where you'd sit with it, turn it over a little, check if it fits something you already knew. Not analysis, not research, just a moment of contact. You and the information, before it became yours. That moment had a function. It wasn't about being careful. It was about making the answer actually land somewhere inside you, not just pass through. And now the answers come faster. They're more complete. They cover more ground in fewer words. So the moment shortened, then shortened again. And at some point, it mostly stopped. Not because you made a decision, because it didn't feel necessary anymore. The answer was already there. Full, clear, ready. What was left to check? And that's the shift most people haven't caught yet. It's not what changed in the answers. It's what quietly stopped happening after you received one.
Before we begin, if you value quiet, thoughtful content like this, subscribing helps this channel grow and makes it possible to keep creating videos without noise or hype. Thank you for being here. Now, let's begin.
This isn't about being more careful. It's not about slowing down or doubting the answers you get. It's about something smaller than that. There's a moment that exists before you open anything, before you type the question, before the answer arrives. A moment where you already have some shape of what you're looking for. Not the full answer, not even a clear question, just a direction, something that's already yours. That moment doesn't disappear when the answers get better, but it does get quieter. And the people who keep finding it, not by fighting the tools, not by using them less, they just learned where to look for it again. Think about the last time you got an answer that felt immediately complete. You didn't sit with it. You didn't need to. It covered everything you asked. It was organized. It made sense. So you moved on. Now think about a time, maybe years ago, when you had to figure something out yourself. You read 3 things that disagreed. You weren't sure which was right. You had to decide. And in that space, that uncomfortable, unresolved space, something happened. You started connecting it to other things you knew. You started forming an opinion, not because someone told you to, because you had no other choice. From the outside, both moments look the same. You got information, you kept moving. But inside the first one, you were a receiver. Inside the second, you were still deciding. That's not nostalgia. That's a function. One that doesn't switch off just because the answers got better. It just stops getting used as often.
There's a specific thing that happens when the tool is very good. Not just fast, good. It anticipates what you meant. It fills in what you left out. It gives you more than you asked for. And that's genuinely useful. But something else happens at the same time. The gap closes. The gap between what you had and what you needed. That gap used to be where you worked, not the answer, the space before it, where you realized you were missing something, where you felt the edges of what you knew, where the question actually formed. Now, the gap closes before you notice it was open. The tool moves faster than the feeling. And so you never quite land in that uncomfortable place where your own thinking used to start. It's not that the thinking disappeared. It's that the conditions for it keep getting skipped. Automatically. Without a decision. Every single time you open the tool and get exactly what you needed.
If this feels familiar so far, not as information, but as something you've been dealing with, we keep a growing collection of prompts, tools, and simple frameworks designed to help you think more clearly, start more easily, and work better in this environment. We add to it over time. Nothing overwhelming, just practical resources you can return to when you need them. If you want access, you will find it in the description. Now, let's continue.
Here's the thing, though. You already know this feeling. Not from reading about it, from somewhere specific in your own life. There's probably a place, a conversation, a problem, a decision, where you still do this naturally, where you don't jump to the answer, where you sit in the question a little longer, where something in you insists on forming a view before you look it up. You didn't learn that. You didn't decide to do it. It's just what happens when the stakes feel real enough, when the answer matters enough to be yours. That instinct didn't go anywhere. It just stopped getting triggered in the places where the tool is fast enough to arrive first. The gap didn't close because you stopped caring. It closed because something else got there before you could. And knowing that, just knowing where the gap used to be, is enough to find it again.
You didn't stop checking. You just stopped noticing there was something to check. So nothing broke. Nothing went wrong. You got better answers faster. You kept moving. That part is real. But somewhere in all of that, a small habit quietly stopped. Not the thinking, the moment before the thinking. The part where you checked if the answer was actually yours. That part doesn't need to come back everywhere. Not for every question, not for every answer.
If you made it this far, it means this topic matters to you. In the next video, we continue building on this with clearer understanding, practical perspective, and ideas you can actually use. Following the channel really helps us keep developing content like this and adding more resources over time. The next video continues from here. You can watch it now.